and welcome to the ESL Pro League. We're live now from the Intel Esports studio, and I am your host, Alex Machine Richardson. We've got many more fantastic games of Counter-Strike coming up as we are getting towards the closing stages of our Pro League. Either way, we're going to go ahead and show you what we have to look forward to tonight. We're going to be jumping in foot first into seeing what the French side can do versus Na'Vi. We'll be starting with G2 versus the CIS squad that has had some floundering as of late. Following that, it's one that a lot of our analysts and you guys at home are excited for. FaZe versus Astralis. Noting that FaZe did actually fall to the team at the start of the secondary stream. It's Hellraisers taking on Fnatic, the Swedes taking on what will be both Inferno and Cash, and then we have Heroic Mouse to round out that secondary stream. Those are the games that are coming up today, and you can see that I'm not alone on this panel, and I forgot to put product in my hair. I've just remembered that's why it looks like something you'd use to clean your pans with. I'm joined by Yenko and Chad.
I was going to say you looked a bit like a sheep.
Yeah, so I forgot, like, the lovely makeup lady who, would make my hair nice, she was like, "You can do your hair?" And I was like, "No, I'll do it myself." And then I played a mobile video game instead and forgot all about doing my hair. So this will look better when we come back from the game. Yenko, how you doing, man?
I'm great.
You told me not to wear a specific shirt and I didn't.
Well, at least you did something right today.
Thank you. Yeah, a couple of things I've done right, some wrong, but you know what? Life's too short.
Have you been an adult today?
Relatively, apart from waking up at about 3 p.m. That was the only non-adult thing I did.
Can't do it everything.
And the only thing I did.
We do work the night shift.
We do, it's true, it is fair. And I mean, one of the luxuries of working the night shift is we get to talk about games to you guys at home. And where would we be without the standings? That is where we're going to venture to first to start off our show. It will show you just a little bit about how the European League is shaping up into match day 18. Now, draw your attention to the top for a second. You'll notice Astralis, North and Fnatic are all kind of in a different category to their own. That was something, Yenko, you were making a point last night.
True, and FaZe was up there as well, but then they had that, 0-2 against Hellraisers, really unexpected. That was a huge upset. FaZe not even winning a single map, but you can see some of the teams, moving ahead, so to speak. But Fnatic has really, really tough games to end out the season. So yes, they're in the #1 spot for now, but it is going to be difficult for them to, remain in it for the rest of the season.
Absolutely, and let's not forget, G2 Na'Vi is a game we're doing today, and look at them at the bottom of the table. Na'Vi, G2, names synonymous with success here in Counter-Strike. However, both of them find themselves at the dreary bottom, and don't forget, the bottom team, the one in that 14th position, is relegated to the MDL. I mean, there are people chasing them now. There are big teams in that MDL that could be trying to steal that spot away from them, Chad.
Yeah, the likes of Virtus Pro, Gambit, they're down there.
They're all hunting.
Even teams like Space Soldiers are looking promising from time to time.
It is just one spot, right?
No, so one team gets automatically relegated down to the Mountain Dew League, and the top placing team from that comes up to the Pro League, and then we have relegation with teams 12 and 13.
Right, so yeah, you basically, if you're 14th, you don't even have a chance to defend your spot. That's just it, GG.
You're in the bin.
Yeah, you're in the bin. I like that.
You're shown the door.
Okay, scores on the doors for FaZe and Astralis coming into the rest of their games, though. So you talked about it. You said that FaZe, that loss actually is going to be quite a bit of a hindrance, especially considering what they're playing a little later on in the league. Not only are they playing versus FaZe, we have other opportunities for them. These are the next games coming up for both the Danes and FaZe. So have a look at that one, guys. I'll let you think out loud.
Well, I mean, for FaZe, it's a bit easier, right? You have the likes of LDLC, Godsend, Heroic. Yes, Heroic have been a bit better recently, but FaZe is on a different level. Na'Vi as well, pretty shaky. And then Fnatic again. Yes, good team, but are they quite on FaZe's level? So looking at FaZe's opposition, I think they should be comfortable moving forward.
Yeah, I think the biggest one for Astralis right there is probably Mouse Sports, right? Or Envious as well. I think those two teams have the opportunity to surprise. They do play very well in this league so far. They're doing some good performances online. And what we saw from Mouse last night is definitely a scary prospect. If they can play like that against Astralis, it could be a good game.
Could be, yeah. Mouse Sports inherently unpredictable as of late. That's been a problem we've had with Mouse Sports. Was it a 16? What was the last map? It was like 16-5.
The win on Nuke. Yeah, that was just a no. NIP won on Nuke, right? NIP won on Nuke, Inferno. And then they won on Inferno. Yeah, feels like a lifetime ago.
It was so long ago. That was yesterday.
Last night.
Why does it feel like so long ago?
I have no idea.
What's happening?
Probably because you were staying up watching all those North American Pro League games.
Yes, that's true.
Which leads us nicely into the standings for North America. Let's just quickly bring them up on your screens because it's nice to keep you in the loop of the games you may not be catching, you may not be watching, just due to that time difference. But if you are, respect to you. You can see Optic Gaming, and I do love to see how successful they have been over there. I mean, it is a mismatch of players with different paths and histories coming together to get the job done.
I feel like SK has lost more games than 4, but at least recently they dropped last night a map to NRG, dropping a map to Splice, a map to CLG, but seems like that's the case. They will, have a mishap every now and then, but still very, very dominant in general in the league. Cloud9 has picked up the slack after a shaky start, having to field the standing, and we can see Immortals still fighting as well after that roster madness that they've had.
Would anyone be willing to place a wager, even though we don't gamble, on the fact that Ghost Gaming will probably get relegated?
I would put an abundance.
Rogue has been playing better last night last night versus Cloud9. 2 losses, yes, but very close. I believe one map even went into overtime. So it's going to be interesting to see how things pan out for them. Another thing is Renegades, now with the actual dates for the minors announced, they can actually attend the Pro League finals this time. So let's see if they will actually qualify this time.
They'll start trying now. They're going to start trying now, and I think tonight they actually get to play SK. So we're going to see them 2-0 SK this evening, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah? No, you said, as you said, we're not gamblers, but you're going to put some money on that?
No.
No, that's what, because we're not gamblers.
Precisely.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'm glad we got that covered. Now, let's go ahead and roll the dice and see which crosshair we do get today. It's something we've been doing every day this week for the Super Week. And it looks like Simple has been selected as our next candidate. Now, what's he rocking here? This is actually...
Dot.
Is that a dynamic? No?
No, it hasn't shot yet, so we're about to see.
Shoot something simple.
Do it, Simple.
Shoot the vent.
I think the key standout here is, no, it's not. And,
no, Styles 4, yeah, it's static.
And he has a dot. He's the first one we've seen with a dot, right? Or did Guardians one have a dot last night? Or was that Dupree's last night? Which one was yellow?
We did Dupree last night.
No, he didn't have a dot. It was just a small gap, so maybe you thought it had one. I don't believe he had a dot.
No, probably not.
But yeah, Simple
his sensitivity
a bit higher sensitivity than usual. The average is around, or most players use around 2.2 sensitivity with 400 DPI. But listen, that's all a matter of preference, really. It doesn't have to mean anything besides, bearing witness that some of those flicks are not accidental.
I would like to see Nico's crosshair at some point because of how much we've heard about it.
It's similar to this one. It's maybe even exactly the same, just dynamic.
And this was all inspired from Yanko. I think we must note to everybody
as
playing
everything else that Nico does.
Yeah, every single headshot he hits.
The 1Ds and so on.
I heard he actually carries around a shrine with him to Yanko.
Yeah.
Prays to it every night before bed.
I like that. I like that a
He
lot.
still uses my mouse.
Oh.
Is that really?
No.
Oh, that would have been cool. It's like, it's the old one from the LAN cafes. He gets it out of a box and undoes the ribbon. Oh, I like that story. It's not real, but it's a nice story all the same. Talking of stories, the storyline for the last 2 teams, or rather the next 2 teams that are coming up, are at the bottom of the table. I'm going to be picking the brains of both Yanko and Chad now when we talk G2 Na'Vi. How on earth, how have the mighty fallen so far? Not only in the Pro League, but just in their kind of Counter-Strike litmus test as of late.
I think it's tough to tell. With Na'Vi, it's a bit easier. Obviously, the roster changed, but even with that, you would expect them to perform better. It seems like for a very long time now, it's just if they're going to beat someone, it more or less is the simple show. When you point out G2, their first week before Malmo, right, the tournament that they won, it's been a mixed bag. But G2 has this problem, I feel, that many teams have. After a LAN, in the online games, they're really not on their A level. I feel like it's a motivation issue, perhaps a little bit. But to be fair to them, they lost some very, very close games. The series against NIP, so they could have easily been much more higher in the standings.
Yeah, I always feel we need to talk, walk on eggshells when we talk about players' mentalities when it comes to online games. But we saw Dupree last night in the interview mention that, right? He said online games, it's a lot harder to be motivated for them, and a couple of other rationale or reasons as to why it seems to be more of a struggle for certain teams. And I think that's the case for G2 and for a lot of these squads. But for G2 to round out the season, we saw who Astralis and FaZe are going to be playing. G2 have quite a easy run, I guess, if you put it, against the opponents they could be versing. To end out the season, they have Na'Vi tonight, Heroic, Big, Godsent, Hellraisers, and Fnatic. That's a dream run to the end to get into that top 6.
And they also had a 1-7, 0-6 start last season, and they ended up qualifying and winning the whole thing. So I wouldn't write them off just yet. Obviously, it's strange seeing these 2 teams at the bottom of the standings mid through the season, but a league, it's a grind. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish.
Yeah, no, I tell the girls that. But what I'm trying to make clear is that they've lost to LDLC, they've lost to Envy, and they've lost to NIP, back to back. You're losing to, probably second and third to the French throne, and shrugging it off. Admittedly, I mean, I feel like there are some caveats to be added when you talk about their online motivation. We know some of the players of G2 are more susceptible to motivation, to struggle, an absence of drive than others. But all the same, I can't help but feel like this is a team we just saw lift a trophy. We know how capable they are, and to see them, getting an overtime loss versus LDLC, struggling to get 10 rounds versus Envious. it hasn't been pretty.
To give some credit to LDLC, their Overpass has actually been on the rise recently. Glaive made a tweet saying, he thinks they've made a lot of steps in the right direction, and they're actually impressive to him. So for them to be pretty good on Overpass is maybe G2's fault for letting that slip through the veto.
I'm going to jump the gun here, Alex. I'm going to guess we have a bit time. Players are going to be late, so I'm going to throw a question here, right? G2 is a team that can come into a tournament and win the whole thing. If they play well, they have a very high skill ceiling, but they can also bomb out and not do anything. So when it comes to motivation and when it comes to you as a player, would you rather be in that type of a team, knowing that you can win a tournament wherever, or would you rather be a team that's like Astralis has been in the past 6 months, where you're almost all the time getting in the top 4, but you're not really winning any tournaments?
Astralis.
Ooh, I think I'd like the Astralis one.
I think G2, because as a player, you always want to win, right? So
yeah,
I think when you look at them within the team, I think they're fine with having some, uncharacteristic performances in the sense of not making it out of the group stages, because they know, this wasn't our tournament. Then it comes to the next tournament, and they're playing great, and they win the whole thing.
So I guess, for what the real question on top of that is, which disappointment do you prefer? Do you prefer, like, okay, we could have done that, but we got grouped? Or do you prefer we nearly got the final, but we didn't? Which one is easier to take? Which one is easier to bear?
If we're talking about, G2 specifically, it gets a bit scary with the French because we've seen how quick to jump the gun on roster changes they've been in the past, right?
Yeah,
if we're talking about in general, or like what I personally would think or whatever, that could be a little bit different. But for G2, I think if they go on a streak of having bad results, then that's definitely going to get to them. They have some players who are very emotional. We've seen it before at events. So for them to be losing online when they know they should be winning against teams who they leagues above, right? They're actually leaps and bounds ahead of a team like LDLC.
And also has to be pointed out, they have been practicing a lot, as we can tell from their Twitter. It's not panning out in the officials, but the hard work will pay off, Alex, as it always does.
Yes, I mean, this is always kind of something players. I mean, yes, there is also copy and paste statements that players do make.
I hate Optic, by the way, because they literally copy paste each other's tweet. I saw 5 tweets that were like, if tournament organizers don't help us a little bit, we're going to have to pull out of some league or whatever. We're going to be in trouble because of the minor schedule or something along that. At least change a few words. Triggered me.
Hey man, can I take a look at your homework? I'll just
bloody hell.
I'll change it a little bit.
Maybe they have someone doing their tweets for them.
That would be even more depressing. Fire that person. Like, what is that? Get the guy that was fired by Immortals.
He was great, actually. Yeah, he was a good social media manager. And we've gone completely away from the topic at hand, which was, of course, G2 versus Na'Vi. That's what that thing is saying. And we can cover it a little bit more now, because it sounds like players are starting to get into that server. Overpass the first map. Now, when I say Overpass, where's your mind jumping to?
G2. I think this is a terrible veto for Na'Vi, but where can they really take it, right? The Overpass in the second map is nuke. G2 is very strong with that map. But talking about Overpass, if you go back year, or maybe the old Na'Vi lineup when Zeus was in there previously, Overpass was one of their better maps, really. And you could look at this and this is a great map for them. They played it a lot even with this roster, but with very, very little success. G2 on the other side of things, as with any other map, it's a mixed bag. When they play well, they're very dominant on this map, especially on the CT side. Great reads, mid-round aggression is something that we always mention, and they are just very good at punishing their opponents for giving them any room to work with.
I think I say it time and time again as well. Simple.
There was 100 kill differential between him and the next fragger.
He's the only consistent factor in this team right now. And, I think if you're a Na'Vi fan and you want to see them back at the top, you might have a while. You need to be patient. These guys are either going to go through a rebuilding phase, which isn't going to happen overnight, or they're going to have a roster change when things don't work out. Now, if you want to see them have success, let's change the roster right now. Let me be the manager. I'll get you some players. But they are a team who I love money. But I think this team obviously has potential. And with such a star player in the team like Simple, it's definitely built around him.
I have to jump in just because you used that word potential.
Hate to hear it.
I hate it. I absolutely detest it. How can you use potential with a word of with names like this, like Seized, Flamey, Simple, Edward, Zeus? Like they have been around the block.
Exactly.
I feel like if there was potential, it would have been realized by now.
I think
it has been.
I'm willing to give some leeway to Na'Vi, Simple, because ever since they formed the roster, for the 3/4 of it, it's been tournament after tournament after tournament, right?
Sure.
Not a lot of time to practice in between all of that, but listen, honestly, even with all that being said, they need to perform better. You just look at the talent and the firepower on the team. Zeus needs to be capable of just getting the basics in with the team, enough to beat teams like, for example, Heroic, Godsent, LDLC, and the like, they have been very, very disappointing in some of the qualifiers. For example, Epicenter dropping maps to Spirit and so forth. That's borderline embarrassing for Navi.
But let's just put this in context, right? So he must be running a different system or planning to with this Navi roster because he has different ingredients. But the one thing that he had when he was the in-game leader in Gambit was players who would just get multi-frags, like
all
Hobbit.
the time.
Hobbit would just sit there. He's a rock. Adren is the same. They're just the type of players that sit in the back line mowing people down.
They were flamies.
Yeah, and Flamey isn't even Flamey at the moment. All Navi have is simple. And then you had Mo, who had the occasional good performance. He actually looked much better, obviously, with at the Major in Malmo. But before that, he wasn't doing too fantastically well. So that kind of was just everything coming together for them during that little run. And then you have Dozier, who's just relatively solid as a player. He just does his job.
So what the problem, to summarize it in a bite-sized chunk, would be the problem for Navi is that Simple is their best rifler, best AWPer, and best player currently.
It's also a matter of, okay, they need time to work out the team play stuff, but they're also underperforming individually, as Shad pointed out, maybe not getting as many kills as they should in some situations, but that's where you also need to put the work, right? That's something Astralis was referencing after their slightly miserable run after the player break. So, I don't know, I feel like even with all of that, for Navi, you would expect them to be humble after the last year after they kicked Zeus, right? Everyone should be listening to Zeus and obeying him completely. And if that's the case and they still aren't performing, then there's something seriously wrong with that roster.
Could the question be that Zeus is the problem, and in Gambit it was all the other players just getting it done? Let's float both sides of the argument here.
I mean, I see where you're going with it.
Yes, but where was Zeus? Where was Gambit before Zeus?
But we credit a lot to Zeus, right? But kind of what happened in the rumors before that event was that the team was dead, right?
Yeah.
Like even Adren said in an interview that he is apologizing to people who they practiced in the lead up because the team either didn't show up or different things like that happened.
Left halfway through.
That has to mean that there's internal issues within the squad, which leads to me that the team wasn't going to exist.
How the hell did they win the major?
I know, but then you look at the semi-final versus Astralis, that deciding train game, and you look at the adjustment Gambit made towards the end of the map, and the adjustment won them the game on the T side, right?
But we assume that Zeus called the adjustment. It's a team of 5 people. We don't know.
Okay, Chad, Zeus.
No, I do.
No.
I'm
just being devil's advocate here.
I do like that a lot. You do have to play devil's advocate, and there is always 2 sides to one story. We spun this Zeus story across events to events, and it is very easy to make the correlation of Zeus joins team, Zeus Gambit win major.
Maybe Hobbit is the mastermind of that team. And
Hobbit joined too. There
you go. It's Hobbit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've summarized that. We've gone all over the place.
In-game leader.
That would make sense. No, that is he's got the
secret,
the hair for it.
He's got the looks and the brains.
Yeah. Well, sounds like this game is about to get underway. Zeus, new team Na'Vi need the win. The guys here on the desk seem to feel like Na'Vi are in trouble if the G2 that we know can lift trophies shows up on the server today. It is another time then to kick off match day 18. Your casters are waiting. It's going to be Sadakist and Henry G to guide you through Overpass.
Thank you so much. Yes, we'll guide you through Overpass. I've been saying it's Hobbit since DreamHack Winter last year. He's the greatest player on the planet. And I think it's about time his genius was recognized to go along with his skill.
Yep, I concur. I completely agree. But this is about Na'Vi, so we'll get into that one. Okay. Na'Vi versus G2. I do think Na'Vi are the weaker team. We've cast them a couple of times on Overpass recently, and they've looked really poor. And it's not really that exciting apart from Simple. It seems to be the only players really doing anything for them right now. Flamey's very quiet. Zeus and C seems to have a really rough time. Edward's not his usual self. And the whole team seems a little bit uninspired, I would say. But G2, they could be up and down online as well. We'll see what they bring to the table here today. It will be Overpass with G2 starting on the T side here. And having a look at the buy, PD50's coming out. This is something we're seeing more and more of, 2 PD50s and utility purchased by Shocks and Apex, a couple of smokes, a couple of flashbangs, and looks like they'll be heading towards B as well. 4 players towards that side of the map. Zeus has got a defuse kit, flashbang to work with as well. In terms of their setup, they've got 2 players towards B with Zeus up in heaven, and Simple has made his way towards the connector, but the first shot comes in. Kenny S blows off C's head there on the B-bomb side.
Flamey, meanwhile, perfectly timed, flash, rather, as he gets taken down and into the site. Simple's got one already rotating around. They go, and he denies the bomb as well by getting Kenny. Edward follows it up. Down goes NBK. Simple's aware of the fact that Apex never went in through the monster. He's going to try and flank back behind him as Apex and Body now have to go for the plant that Kenny couldn't find the first time. And Edward, I think, is going to be greeted. Okay, I thought he would be peeking. He's not. That gives Body no chance when he goes to the repeat because Edward checks it. And it's a rotation around toward the tunnel. And Edward might be ready for this. I think he is. He's read this, that he's run back and perfectly played. Has a kit as well picked up on the way through.
That's much better from Na'Vi. Edward looking very good there, hitting every single shot of the Silence USP. Simple. I always say when he's alive, something can happen. He comes up towards short, denies the plant for so long, takes down the attempted planter as well. Then Reed to play perfectly towards short, finds a couple of frags, sets Edward up for the 1v1 clutch. He manages to deliver the goods and find the first round in the pistol for Na'Vi. So, the force buy from G2 in the second round. This is audacious. Coming in the CZs, the Galil, head armor as well. 3 smokes. It's actually looking pretty promising. We'll have a look at the Na'Vi by 2 M4s and 3 SMGs. Shoxy will be challenged by Zeus towards the underpass itself, but it's MBK makes his way towards short right now, and Apex works towards long.
Toward long with Flamey, gap in the smoke, good find. MBK couldn't quite get Flamey fast enough to defend his teammate Apex. If he had gotten the kill even a second sooner, they'd both be alive and have an advantage in the site. Simple, meanwhile, rotates back around, and M4. Is that a blue water M4 with liquid stickers all over it? Simple's going back to his roots, who would have thought? Maybe he's had enough of Na'Vi as well. 2 kills more for the young man. Kenny's tagged to 14. Another bomb plant, however, means a buy coming. And it's 2-0 Na'Vi when we reach that conclusion.
They get the bomb down again. They find 3 kills. If they wanted to force it once more, certainly possible. Kenny S got about 2k available to him as well. They could bring out the Gillos once more. I don't think that'll be the approach to go for. It was a nice attempt. A few kills coming through. Burned body there on the B bomb site. And I'm surely not. They're not going to do it, are they? They're thinking about it. Oh, it's happening.
Yep. I thought they would with 2 bomb plants. I think Kenny just assumed it. I think Kenny just assumed 2 bomb plants they go, but the problem is they force bot so hard in the second round.
That's really weird
to follow it up.
So they haven't forced into it. Kenny S had 4k, then he has the AWP next round. Now he buys AK head armor and taking himself down to $500.
I think he jumped to the conclusion.
Well, let's send of him.
Nice AK. Thanks for bringing that to the round.
Yeah.
Simple's looking good with the old blue water. I got one of those. Maybe I'll equip it. A1S, by the way. We talked about that.
It's called the Brightwater.
Brightwater, sorry. It's in the, it's on the screen, isn't it?
Yeah.
You should probably learn to read.
Just in case you kept saying it.
Well, you know, Brightwater, liquid, it all goes. You know, listen, I was going to keep saying it. He's gone to the A1S. We don't see that very often, and he is rocking with it right now.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit like a laser.
Zeus has it as well.
Yeah. But
maybe that's Navi's problem. Just get with the meta. Stop using that gun. But they're making it work tonight.
They really are. It's looking very good.
Shocks will wait. Top of the stairs. The AK's at least been recovered by Apex. He did not have armor, and he's gone down now as well. Good shot. Shocks with the P250. Takes Simple out of it. Zeus gets the kill back. The question is, do they make it far enough forward fast enough to get the AK-47? They're all running for it. Didn't quite get there.
Kenny S has 3 grand. So if they want to buy an AWP, someone's going to have to drop him one, and they'll be left without armor. That call just didn't make any sense to me. Why would you limit yourself when you're the world's best AWP? You're definitely getting that gun next round. You've lost that previous one. You kind of, okay, we'll accept the 3-0. And now he's just down to a Deagle map. Deagle had armor and some nades with 4 AKs around him. That's just not ideal. It's not part of the game plan. And G2 really need to address this. It's something they're known for over the last 2 years of different iterations of the lineup. But Zeus is going aggressive towards short. Gets taken down, but there's a couple more players get the refrags here, and Edward delivers in spades. 2 more come through, and it's a 4-on-3. Hard work done. He does go down to 19 HP, but that's a really nice way to kick things off in the first gun round, technically.
Technically speaking, you're correct.
And there we go. Kenny S needs to try and recover a weapon. They know he's only got the Deagle here, but he should be able to find an AK. There it is. That does boost their chances somewhat. They've got 2 smokes, make it 3, and a couple of flashbangs to work with as well. Shoxy currently holding the connector, and Kenny S looking towards short. They're seeing if there's any more CT aggression right now. They've still got plenty of time here. AWP's out for Simple. He is the main AWPer, believe it or not, considering what you saw of the rifle in the previous round. You'd assume he'd be sticking on the M4, but oh no. Good nade.
He is so good with the M4. That's the thing. I still think that could be a rule change they make if they look to go that route in the future.
That's why I think
Kenny S.
bring someone else in with the AWP roles. That would be the move I'd make.
And, I mean, you look at, I don't know if you saw the game with Flipside. Who were they playing? Team Spirit? No, they were playing someone. Another Kazakistani team, I think, actually.
Yeah.
And Electronic was like plus 14, and the rest of his team was like negative 26.
Not bad.
Yeah, so Electronic's another candidate for rifling as well.
Well, here we go. Edward coming in for the master flanker. Could be perfect. or not. Misses out by a couple of seconds there. Still sees finding a frag in towards the B side. 10 seconds as well. He needs to deny the plant. That's all he has to do here. Opts to take the challenge instead. And now, Simple doesn't hit a shot. And there we go. Kenny S does manage to make it work, and they find the orb. So they managed to recover the situation, which was looking pretty grim for them. 3-1. 2-player survive as well. I feel like C's just had to play more defensive position there. Make one of the players plant. Once they're removed, then you can go for the challenge and then have your teammate with you as well. But stood in the open, got taken down. Round number 5. Money available for Na'Vi. Not amazing amounts. C's just down to the 5-7 here. Apex pulls out the Mac 10. Could actually work out for them. There's 2 players without helmets. Edward nades towards middle. No one there waiting for it. And Simple with the first shot. It's the boost, I believe. He does take down MBK. It's always a very viable boost in the no-scope towards shore. That also works quite nicely
We
for
might
him.
get treated to one of those games, Hank.
I hope so.
It's been a while.
Kenny S and Simple going at it.
If
Yes,
they both
please.
hit that, yeah, absolutely. If they both hit that level. I've already seen one grim error
No
from
need for
Kenny
that,
early
C's.
on, and you're right, C's gets caught well out of position. Apex is behind the sandbags when they have the advantage.
Get the 5-on-3 and then you're playing by yourself. But Simple, he is at least recovering the situation.
I don't really know what Apex was thinking there either. Zeus will find Kenny. I'm hearing more silencers than I've heard in forever, and it's music to my ears. They do sound beautiful. As body heads in, it's Zeus that's still waiting behind Toxic, and the AK can't match the laser, as you called it. It's a frickin' laser.
It is.
That was a terrible Dr.
was
Evil
that.
impression.
First boost. It's better than the jump because you actually have a chance to fire
Hit a
back.
shot, yeah.
You know, so that's the harsh reset. No bomb going down there. Very well done by Simple once again. Of course, he's top of the scoreboard. Can make it work with the M4 and the sniper rifle. And they will not be force buying here. G2 taking a more conservative approach. 1 Deagle, 1 P250, and we've got Zeus going towards the connector. After they get 1 kill here, they don't need to force the issue. Just get that kill and fall back. You don't even have to get that. They've got absolutely nothing to work with here. If anything, they forced that with Deagles and body armor. Hold those crossfires, make the orb work. Simple's got long, that's perfect.
Perfect is one way they describe me, Hank.
It's one way, yeah.
If they didn't know that.
The wrong way.
Come on. We're not taking sides here. Zeus takes down MBK. No tracers. Seasonal babysit Zeus as he runs back around. Rotation all the way through the site over toward A because he knows that they're at the top middle. No need to contest, no need to take the fight. Edward will do that instead and take down Body. And running backwards somehow with the headshot on Kenny. Navi, where was this game for the last 3 months?
They have to eco again
Or
here, G2.
year.
They could just about buy. 3,900 on Kenny S, 5k on Body. I think they would take a pause and just work out how to do it. I guess they can drop the AWP over. It's not going to be the best. They'll get AKs, I guess, Galil. That's the slight caveat there. It's okay. Look at the AK, 2 AKs, 3 AKs, Galil. MBK have no nades. Kenny has no nades, but he has got the AWP. So they've made it work. I thought a partial buy there. Coming through, but Kenny S with the first shot and connector this time takes down Simple. The battle begins. The gauntlet has been thrown down. Simple was looking very good indeed, and Kenny S might get a wall bang here, which he does. Doesn't find the kill, but that hurts.
That's awesome to see, and considerate of Kenny to fire toward it. Does back and change the defense back off the player. Zeus inside of the heaven position. He actually jumps down now instead because he needs to be inside of the site. Can't afford to get caught out by even a nade thrown that direction. Finally a man advantage for G2.
Here we go. Damage inflicted as well. 5-1 for Na'Vi. You're right. We haven't seen this complexion of them in a while. This is looking quite nice. Good boost coming through from Flamey as well. Knowing he has to work for a frag here, and this could actually work out quite nicely for him. Takes down Apex. 4-4 once again. It looks like G2 are at least flirting with the idea of finishing up towards B. They have 2 smokes here and a few flashbangs. We said a limited utility. You have to be very careful. MBK going for the brave contact play with his teammate as well. Flashbang misses, but the shot doesn't. Body gets one with the AK-47. MBK now just a little trying to make things work.
BK gets toward the grill, the great pipe, the drains.
How's he done that?
It's Kenny that actually gets in to find Zeus. Edward immediately back into MBK. A 2 versus 1 with low HP on Kenny, but AWP in his hands. Shocks on 54. I would give the man all the chance in the world with even 1 HP on an AK some days. And Edward sits to wait and see what happens with the bomb, which will now head to the site. That's his cue to enter, but he wants to slip around. The smoke dissolves. They've heard him jump over. Low HP. Kenny down. Baits out the shot. He's got a real chance at finding Shocks as well, who thinks he's going to be jumping around behind the boards. He's not, and reads it better. Good
attempt there. Takes the AWP out of Kenny's hand. It is recovered, but another round where GT put one on the board, but only one player surviving there. So really investing into this round will be very difficult indeed. Plenty of money available for the Na'Vi side. They bring out an AWP straight away. Flamey yet to buy is another M4 there. Win this, another double EK. That's if the bomb doesn't go down. MP7 for MBK. Get a little for body. It is weak. Kenny doesn't get any nades along with his AWP. As we enter this one. Round number 8. Having quite fast rounds here. Edward this time towards long. Backed up by Simple. A change of setup. First time we've seen Edward go here at the very start of the round. And G2 very tentative with their approach. Don't want to walk into any crossfire just yet, holding up for any aggressive plays towards long. We do know Na'Vi like to do that. Especially Simple likes to get in their faces towards the playground, but they're holding strong as well. Shoxy, Apex and Kenny heading towards long, trying to maybe find his first pick. Flashman will come over momentarily. There it is.
Good shot from Simple, though. As he gets up onto the flower pot, Zeus still inside of the bathroom, seized. Flamey over toward B. Bomb well back toward T-spawn. G look for 2 in a row. See what I did there?
Yes, that is good.
Thanks. I like it a lot. I put a lot of thought into that one.
Flamey pushed up towards tunnel here. He's going to have a couple of players to work. Brings out the nades. The flashbang could be decent. Doesn't have any effect, and he should be going down here for sure. But how does he pull that one off? Kenny S will recover just about 30 seconds remaining now. Shoxy on the B side. Simple coming in from the connector. Has to deny this plant, but Shoxy ready and waiting for him. It does come towards short. The flashbang's no good. Shoxy surely gets this kill, but somehow no. Denied. Kenny S now with the AWP has the 2-on-1 situation. Has to get the bomb down as well. Has no time to get towards A. Fakes it out. They haven't taken the bait. He has to really go for it now. He knows it. Oh, another bait.
Wow, Zeus. Gets Kenny as he tries to bait back in, wants Simple to peek, and never does. It's Zeus instead. Simple's on 13 kills at this point in time. We're on round 9, so he is looking sharp.
Yeah, this has been good for Na'Vi.
6-2. Yeah, no back-to-back rounds for G2 at all at any point.
But when I casted Na'Vi last week, I was saying that their pushes looked like it was a mess. There was no structure to it. And now, even they lose the first pick, there seems like there's some sort of system going forward when they're trying to retake positions like short or monster tunnel flashing over there. The flashbangs are set. The smoke's off to eradicate risk as well. And they're finding those kills in return, and they're shutting down areas like T-spawn. And that's a little bit of a misplay from Zeus. Body runs through the flames by himself. That gives up the M4 and maybe a bit more as Body takes down Edward as well. As the round's starting to fall apart. It was an investment from G2. They took themselves down to about $500. You pretty much call this a force. Well, they have the man advantage. So with the incendiary down, it's assumed that would be a force build, but Body surprised him. Didn't take too much damage and now found his second kill.
Simple goes back out to bathrooms as well. As he looks for anyone getting aggressive toward the fountain, he'll rotate off and look likely, I assume, go to where the window is seized. We'll play on the floor inside of the site direct. No indication as to where the 3 players of G2 are going, even though they've got it down to a 3-on-3. They haven't grouped on any particular position. Which is interesting that they're drawing out more time as Apex goes back over to join Kenny and Body, who has now made his way to B. So that looks to be the target. Question is, how does Kenny find the entrance with just CZ75 and no armor? Sacrifice?
Possibly. They go towards B. 30 seconds. They've got smokes to work with here. Good nade by Flamey. Ooh, doesn't quite reach. Final commitment now. They need to try and get the first kill, which they do. Isolated by the Molotov. It's up to Flamey to find the second kill. Should be the round now. Apex has to run through Monster. He'll be making footsteps at this point. Oh, I can't find the shot, though. That's lovely by Apex.
Down to the one-on-one, though. Despite what G2 had to start with, and Simple, doesn't matter if it's a bait or not, certainly ready as he walks back in through the smoke and gets the shot with the op.
I would say if you're Apex right there, go for that. Get the plant in, at least guarantee that. He had no idea what Simple was. Hoping to bait him out, as you said, with the low time. You'd assume he's going for that plant, but Simple almost gifted the opportunities. The smoke was down towards heaven, so I guess he just thought there's no way he'll be there. And that was pretty much a force fight, like I said. G2 taking the money down to about $500. 7-2 now. Na'Vi looking...
timeout.
Yeah, looking very good here. This is a timeout for G2. Money has been a problem. First gun round, no AWP for Kenny S after he fully forced ball for some reason the round before. Like, that is a viable strategy, don't get me wrong. Bringing one AWP out and ecoing around it. Like, your best rifler, someone like, I don't know, Apex could do that, right? And it makes sense because he would have a deagle next round, that's fine. But Kenny S to do that with no money in the next? They won the round still, but it's just indicative of where G2's mindset is right now. They're not really considering the bigger picture, making sure he gets the AWP, and that's something G2 have always struggled with.
Well, they may have always struggled with it. A timeout called. We'll see if they can fix the problems they've had now with CZ 75s. MBK is going to go very quickly as well toward the bathrooms. A stampede.
Here we go.
It's not a Bison, though. We can't call it a stampede.
No.
Missed shots doubly so for Simple. Still, though, Edwards in position with the M4. Had to go to the pistol eventually. That's when Simple decides he'll maybe hit a shot. Takes down Apex, the man who got his teammate. Kenny still finds one CZ, but head popping back up. Flamey finds him as well as his teammate just before. And we find ourselves at 8-2.
15 kills of Simple, 5 deaths. Every single game map Na'Vi are playing recently, even if they're losing maps, like, he's top of the scoreboard and just carrying. Okay, at the bottom, C's 3 for 7. Zeus, better game from him, 8 for 5. 12 kills of Kenny S. Majority haven't really come from the AWP. MBK lacking behind on 2 for 10. Another eco for G2. These have we seen. 4 spies have plenty and ecos as well. Should be 9-3 for Na'Vi, but G2 definitely can be a nuisance with the Deagles. 4 of those. Kenny S now being a little bit more modest with his buys. He's just got the Glock. Not purchasing anything.
Edward, meanwhile, goes back out to the bathrooms, not all the way forward, just the Glock for Kenny, as you say. His money's been a massive problem in this game. Throughout, started off with bad management on his part. Good management of bullets being sprayed by Edward. They distribute themselves quite accurately, as Apex will get Zeus. And Shocks follows up, so still getting some kills on the board. Tall order ahead of them, though. It's Flamey.
Shot. Flamey's looking pretty lively tonight.
He's looking more, as Chad said, the Flamey he's not looked like as of late, if that makes any sense, because he's actually sitting back like a wall and finding kills that come into his crosshair. That's what he's known for.
Yeah. Looking better. 9-2. Money starting to stabilize finally for the French side. 4 rounds lost, so meaning $2,900 per player now. 4 AK-47s, an AWP comes out. Shocks here with no nades, so not ideal. And Zeus looking to go towards connector again. That was an area they've struggled with because Kenny seems to find this opening kill time and time again. Simple this time, presumably holding towards long. He's not, he's a B. He's actually got a strange angle towards Monster, looking for anyone crossing over. Body seems to be aware, tagged him up a little bit as well, so Simple needs to get out of there.
Body tries to spray into the monster tunnel, which is smoked off. Zeus. He's gonna just sit and wait inside of the bathrooms. Hopefully all goes well in his front, because if he goes down at this point, he still does have Edward in the sight, but Simple's rotated off early. They have ample time to get back, but they are slowly grouping towards Zeus, who has a smoke to work with that's deployed in front of the doorway. He wants the gap inside of it. More importantly, he's going to spot one, but he has to run away. That's his cue to run and get back quickly, because he can hear Shocks approaching, and still he wins that duel as well.
Just about. Surely he gets nothing more out of this, but it's good work so far. Bomb dropped as well. Simple chiming in. 5 on... Surely, Zeus, you go back then. Wasn't happy with 2 and the bomb down. Wanted to give Kenny S a window. I thought he'd go for the really defensive play, then bait them into the corner. But Simple still hitting absolutely everything. Kenny S gets dropped and seized with the final flank kill. Double digits. This could be a quick one. Overpass has been a very weak map for Na'Vi recently. It was a little bit mysterious as to why this came through in the veto, but looking much better, I have to say. Maximum loss bonus now, no bomb going down. Here's Simple popping heads. Well, that was a body shot through the wall, but still. It looked pretty good. 2 Galils, 3 AKs. Not ideal situation there.
Simple out toward long again on top of the flower pot. It's going to try and fire away, and hopefully with great success. Apex better than the AWP could have been, as Simple fell back, was ready to roll, and got in a better position, out in front of the bathrooms as Edward wants to wrap back around and finally put him down. He found Zeus as well, so job well done from Apex.
Very well done indeed. Flamey, try and hold them off now. He is towards short. This could be perfect, Matt. Finds NBK of no problem whatsoever. That's made things interesting. Kenny S only with that Galil as well. Down he goes. He's up to body. Sneaking in through short. Nails the shot. 1 minute remaining. Seized. Very quiet game from him so far. 4 kills in total. If he wins this, it could be one of the most impactful kills he'll get this half. But with 45 seconds remaining. Body with the bomb as well. He's got such a huge advantage. He can take his time. Choose his position. He's got a smoke to work with as well. This makes his way towards A. Bit of a gamble, but seems to be working out quite nicely for him. Bomb should be planted, no issue at all. Smoke out towards CD spawn. That should tell C's that he's over on this side of the map now, but he's coming in from behind.
Heads in. Slowly, body reads it, knows that he's not toward the stairs. Somehow he's not dead yet. I thought he had to have gone down. There's so many blood spatters already on the wall in the same position.
The Christmas shot was it? But
no.
It all counts. You get the shot. You get the kill. I'm surprised Body didn't kill him there, but managed to put it off. A couple of taps would have done it. But he wins the round. C recovers the orb. And we go into round number 14. 11-2. Bomb planted, maximum loss bonus, meaning they can buy. But this is a very one-sided affair. C delivers a decent clutch.
Shocks down the ladder. It's inside of the doors. The flames burn just in front of his position. He'll slowly wrap around and head up the stairwell now. Flash out from Fountain. Gets in front of the bathrooms, and he's actually made contact, if you will, in terms of spotting Edward inside of the site. Simple, however, continues to be aggressive with an AWP.
Problem is now, they can't afford to take ecos, right? So they're going to have to keep buying up with just the AKs and remove the Kenny S orb, which has been pretty decent for them. But still, an AWP shot is what opens up the round, and it shocks it to recover, but he gets dinked up in the process. He found Edward, but at what cost? Nothing really to speak of as of yet. Kenny and NBK make their way towards long.
Kenny, meanwhile, gonna wrap back around. It's G2 that has the bomb in the hands of Shocks and a grouping inside of the bathrooms that suggests maybe they want to go that way. Shocks has other plans, though. Maybe that's for the best. Kenny, however, does find C's because Zeus was pushing up with him. If they find both, they open the site. Zeus, I think they know where he is or should check it. Flash, maybe not, because they go over it. They go right in front of him. Awkward as he almost missed out on body. He's going to wrap around low HP. Kenny, instead, though, gets far enough forward, and he saves his teammate.
He should be able to plant still, no problem at all. Flamey left in the 3 versus 1. Might as well go for it, try and limit them as much as he possibly can for the next round. Looks like he's bailing out. Well, he's only got $300 left over, so his buy would be weak after this one, actually. They only get 1,400. The money's not actually as strong as you would think. A couple of rounds where they only kept one player alive in the last few, but he might as well save up. And G2 finally pull one back after losing that opening pick once again. Nice play towards the A site. It's going to be Kenny S with the rifle, finding some very good form there. And he will recover the AWP as well from Simple and find that third round on the board as well. They can't finish this 12-3. They need to get the 11-4. They are on the T side. We considered the harder of the two. But still, considering Na'Vi aren't really that well versed in this map at the moment, you would think this is a done deal for G2 coming into this one. Looking like it right now. But G2 can always come back from these sort of scenarios. Great work from Kenny. As you can see, round number 15, end of the first half. And 11-4 pretty likely, considering we've got a UMP, 2 Famises, only 1 kit. The simple orb comes out though, Matt, so maybe he can bring us some more fireworks as he goes in towards the connector.
Simple. Checks it all, goes connector, goes front fountain, pretty much everywhere that he's gone on A. Doesn't find anyone this time around now, does he, Hank?
No.
Bombs intentionally drop back toward the park. It Shocks and Apex, that'll work together. That's a pretty good entry combo. Shocks makes no mistake finding Simple, that's for sure.
Yes, the orb gone as well, and maybe their chances of winning this round. Oh no. They check it eventually. He's looking for the big line up there, Edward. The trigger discipline coming through. But I still think G2 run away with this round. Yeah, it is. Apex taking them down. I think what Famises and UMPs, they're struggling, but still, at least making the round competitive. This goal is almost certainly going to be for Apex, and that should be it. Flamey, another 3 versus 1. 3 versus 0. 11-4 will be the score in the first half. Was looking very bleak indeed there for G2, but finally shutting down the money towards the end. 4 on the board. Still enough to work with, believe it or not, on the T side. They win the pistol on the CD side. They can do exactly what we just saw to Na'Vi as well. Na'Vi not exactly amazed on this map right now, but that's a great performance from them. Simple, looking sharp as usual. And find out what happens in the second half after this quick break.
The balloons are pretty, and so are you. Welcome back to Counter-Strike. Because right now, it's an 11-4 game between Na'Vi and G2.
It is. Na'Vi surprising us all, I think. Some form on Overpass, the CD side. It looked calculated. The pushes were good. The reactions were there. When they were losing picks, they were doing everything they could to get back in to the game as well. It was looking quite promising, I have to say. The pistol round was excellent as well, Edward. And Simple, the tag team combo, getting things done in a 4-on-2 situation. There are the scores on the doors.
Scores on the doors.
G2 being led by Kenny S, and same story for Simple as well. That's the jewel under the sea. 2 Titans locking horns on the server, and we'll see whether they can continue that battle as we enter the second half. I hope it gets a little bit deeper. If Na'Vi win the pistol, maybe this will be a bit of a stomp, but maybe not. G2 very well versed with the silenced USPs. We'll see whether they can cause some damage here. It's a much needed pistol by them. We've got a huge mountain to climb now, but I still feel like it will be a close game, Matt. It's never this simple.
Well, it is. Yeah.
I got there first.
You did. You did. You knew where I've gotten predictable in my old age.
Yep.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Looks like we're almost ready to get in. We'll see if Na'Vi are going to be purchasing PT50s as well. It's NIP that started doing that on the T-side pistol. The utility players opting for PT50s, a smoke and a flashbang, mainly because now you don't get as damaged and when you have no armor, and the PT50 and Glocks have been adjusted. Don't climb over the railings, Matt.
It's only so that I don't take a scout and shoot everyone in the head. It's really not. It's safe otherwise.
Don't take a scoot and shoot everyone in the head.
Don't make fun of my Canadian.
1 PT50, that's it. And we've got Zeus with the smoke and 2 flashbangs. Little decoy in there as well for good luck.
He doesn't need it.
Oh, he's pushing middle. He's going all the way. Shox is coming to T steps. Does he dare go any further?
Absolutely he does. Come on. He's made it this far, not seen. Why wouldn't he? Oh,
They've
that's...
stacked for him?
That... is this something I've not... Okay. I mean,
He's gonna
whatever.
kill them both.
He struggles to kill them both. Goes down. Simple. I don't know that they were... Is that
That's
something
some
he
sort of
regularly
strat.
does?
It must
Yeah,
be.
exactly. I've not recounted that, but they might study more recently than I'm
That's
expecting.
not a usual setup. You don't just sit T steps, 2 people on each other's heads. That's not normal. But they do get a recovery frag there. And will be... Kenny has to pick that up. Like I said, he's showing some great form right now. But 2 players coming in the back. That's going to be Body and Kenny. Flashes go down, and Bomb should be planted pretty comfortably here, but they need to act quickly. I would say do the bank plan here to be safe. There they come. Oh, Edward. He can push this smoke as well. He's brave. It's going to be GT picking this round up. It looks like it's falling apart for the Na'Vi side. Kenny is coming in. Apex smoked out, but they're being pincered right now.
MBK, meanwhile, working his way onto the site, but greeted by Edward as Apex again looks impressive. He's been the best of G2, I think, in this game, if I were to gamble and gander at it. The defuse comes in for the man I mentioned. It's a round for G2 that they desperately needed. Now their turn to try and make things better in their CT side, and they certainly were on their T side. That's for damn certain.
Well, there it is. After getting the first pick, Shoxy anti-stratted there, but nothing they could do about this. Apex with the lovely aim has been showing some great skill recently. The bomb goes down. No G2 antics here. 4 spying in the second round. The AK's come out in the third, more traditional approach after losing the pistol. Shoxy towards the bathrooms. In terms of the rifles, they have got 3 of them, so they are prepared for the AKs. Shoxy and Apex go down to MP9s. We'll be trying to farm a bit more cash and push an aggressive line.
Simple. All the way up to the bathroom. Just going to be spotted without even having a chance to look beside him. Apex, therefore, pushes back, but Shox is still waiting. MP9 in hand. He's got a lot of company heading his direction, so over to the P2000. He's gone down like it's 1999.
Yeah, he has. Fallen to Edward and Flamey looking to plant the bomb. If they get that down, that'd be fantastic, but it's unlikely. Should be Flamey drop there. And the final player, Edward, has got the bomb and an MP9, no armor to speak of. 1 kill would be fantastic. That's certainly available. So the connector here, but Apex takes him down. As promised, the MP9's delivering the money, paying off the dead set. You find 2 kills with the MP9, actually pays the money back for that weapon. And as expected, the AK is coming out in the third now. Looking to deny the 3-0 here. Na'Vi 11-6 right now, but the campaign has begun. G2 win this round, which I guess you can call a little bonus situation considering we've got an SMG and a FAMAS out there as well. They should be in a good position to do so, make it a reality. As the orb comes out for Kenny S, he holds towards middle, and Apex once again pushing off towards short, using that incendiary to buy him some time and deny any sort of rush.
Flame being ready and waiting with the AK. We'll take down Apex very quickly out toward the water. That's an unfortunate state of events for G2. Just going to encourage them to, in fact, Na'Vi push all the way into the water position. And MBK, therefore, has to be very careful. Good peek from Zeus.
Yeah, he has to be careful, but he didn't really consider the close-range encounters coming through. Smoke down, and we'll see Na'Vi with a 5-on-3. I think you're considering saving this already. Yeah, they will be. Save the AWP, that retake's almost impossible. So you've got 5 players up with, haven't even been touched there. Just a no, I think MBK, very quiet game out. He's on 3 for 16. That's not ideal.
Not the best.
One of the big names, one of the veteran players of G2. Body as well, normally a rock, solid. He's on 5 kills, 14 deaths. So, a couple of names missing here. One almost completely absent. They'll save the AWP, 2 and 4s as well. I don't think Na'Vi will be too worried about going on the hunt. They want them to force buy, they want to break their own economy. That's absolutely fine. Definitely will be a buy available for G2 here. Na'Vi keep 5 players alive. That's a nice play there, waiting for the CTs to push at the very start. Got that first 5 on 4 up towards B, and then MBK in a pretty awkward position. Had to play a little bit more aggressive, try and get the opening kill. But still they can buy here. 3 weapon save, 12-6. Lose this one though, man. They're 13-6 down and almost certainly going to be eco as well. So that's a bit of an issue. This is a must-win round and could decide their fate.
MBK quick to the site and quick to Monster seemingly. No, he's going to hold up. Molotov's instead to slow down any potential fast play, from the terrorists, as a nade will be ready for Monster as well. It's thrown. No one on the other end of it. No one's around to take his head off Apex or Henry, but you almost wish someone was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get the point of this, but it's almost like you're doing that at boredom sometimes.
Well, here he comes up. 4th long. Best aim there, but Zeus does push him back. Bomb should be going down momentarily. That's better. Gets one at least. MBK hasn't had much impact into this game, but does take down one of the opening kills. We'll see if they can get anything more. Bomb will be planted. Edward, though, blows his head off, and MBK just can't get going in this game whatsoever. But Body, he seems to be coming to life.
He's under the smoke and working his way back to the site. One of my favorite features of Overpass, nice flash, is to walk around this platform and how close you can get, how tight proximity the battles become on the retakes. It certainly worked out so far for G2. In fact, I was going to say, I think they've heard the hits detected, and therefore they'll get the kill inside of the smoke. It's diffused for G2. They find a 7th round.
Strong retake there from G2. Didn't look likely at one point, but the boys that saved the weaponry before, Body, KennyS and Shoxy, managed to come through, and KennyS with his 20th kill of the game as well. He's doing a very good job. Haven't broken the banks as of yet, but still, they're starting to get back into this game. The gap starting to close. 12-7 overall. B-side still is looking quite weak, though. They didn't really put up much of a defense. It was the retake that was very strong that got them back into the round. Number 5 here. But instead, we'll see if any aggression comes through the CTs. Nothing really to speak of. KennyS right back on the bomb side itself. Similar story for Na'Vi. Not going to be very quickly at all here. Default round for short. Smoke off towards the bathrooms. Pretty standard stuff. And they'll try and obtain some connector control as well, which Flamey almost certainly will get. No one on the other side, and sees, waits for any pushes at the B-bomb side.
Body and Apex. Body on top of the cinders as well, seeing if anyone's going to hop on top of the little railing on the other side. MBK also on the B side of the map. It's Flamey and seized up close, and Na'Vi not really doing much at this point. It'd be a shame to see them not close out this game, considering how good it was to start and how desperate they are for results. But G2, let's not forget, they're on the bottom of the Pro League standings as well. So
they really are, aren't they?
They really
They're
need
very
a result.
bottom. I think they've played slightly less games, but still, it's
a battle of, brutes for last place right now.
Yeah. This is a nice position from Body. There we go. Stop the boost.
Good find though, Body and MBK all set and ready, and MBK could swing for more. Knows they're there. Trying to time it with a flash. Does so perfectly. Apex already contributed. Shox closes out the round, so G2 pretty solid on the defense thus far.
They are. Should be a close game now. 11-4. Another eco for Na'Vi coming through. We do know their overpass can a little bit wonky at times. Double AWP setup coming up for G2 now. MBK with the AWP. He is the secondary AWPer now. That was the adjustment after Shoxy was secondary AWPer to KennyS for so long. It was very successful in the very beginning of G2, but seemed to drop off somewhat. Now it's MBK. It was a previous main AWPer many moons ago, but Flamey does take down Shoxy. That was a hell of a shot. That was towards top of middle once again. I think that's probably all they'll get out of this round unless they recover the rifle, which they do, to be fair. But Body, waiting the connector, finds Edward and brings it into an equal situation.
Simple getting in position toward the bathrooms after Body takes down Flamey. Needs to get the equalizing kill as soon as he can. He spots one. Does he know there's another close? Sees the leg. Still can't find the slide shot. KennyS and the AWP wins it, and Body goes aggressive to find Zeus. Again, they crumble. Not with as much weapons this time, to be fair, but G2 won't complain. They'll take it. Another round for them and an attempted comeback. Now 12-9. So we're getting there.
We're getting there somewhat. Yeah, the double AWP setup. I like this from G2. We didn't see this at all from Na'Vi. They don't really have a secondary AWP now, if you think about it. Who would do that? I guess Seized at one point was secondary to Guardian, but I don't think I would be that hyped to see him with AWP considering his current form recently. But Na'Vi, this time, 5 AK is absolutely fine. Simple does not need the AWP to win rounds. Bit of wallbang damage there. Apex takes a few bullets through the wooden board to get into 73. And we'll have a big execution here from what I can see. Limited in utility, there's 4 smokes and 1 flashbang. I think they're going to drop the smokes and hope for the best, or just go for a straight-up contact play. Looks like it is the latter. In we go, and MBK is loving that. 1 kill and falls back as well.
Immediately goes for the other. Surprisingly doesn't hit it. It's Seized instead with Zeus to follow on Apex. So the site take successful for Na'Vi. Finally, Zeus needs to plant the bomb. He'll do so, and Simple will trade places with him to try and watch the window. In fact, go beyond into the water below and around to jungle to hold off any rotations. Both G2 players make that just 1 now in Shocks, but both were in the window. Shocks will grab the op and I imagine fade away, despite low HP on 2.
He knows if he takes a couple down, though, he can cause some damage. That's why he'll at least explore the idea of finding some exit kills, which he certainly delivers on so far. That's Simple dropping. That's probably all to be good for. But look at Edward. He's coming in from the bank area. So he could be the thorn in Shoxy's side. As he comes through, Shoxy does get 1 more kill, but let's see if he finds the frag. I think Edward. Oh no. Oof. I thought he was to get his head blown off there with a nose kill or something. But there it is. 13-9. And the money's still absolutely fine for G2, so they won't have a problem buying into this one. Looking to shut down the economy of Na'Vi into this after losing 3 players there as well. It's not ideal, so still an absolute honest chance of G2 bouncing back here. They're taking a pause from what I can see. Maybe this is a chance to discuss whether that double AWP set is working out for them. Do they want to consider changing it, or maybe it's just technical? I don't know. We'll find out soon, I'm sure.
It is tactical, and it is a double op setup brought out. The music changes dramatically. 3 rounds to go for Na'Vi. Simple's on his op as well, keep in mind.
3 will do it. Round number 8, we see a change of stances. Double AWPs do come out. Kenny S hasn't been like super aggressive on this map as of yet, but there's a smoke towards middle. Doesn't decide to push above it. It's holding back, watching the party area. Shoxy watches long. And another slow default for Na'Vi. He's famous for this playstyle, waiting up a default, dissecting the map. Usually allowing his star players to find opening picks as they take more and more map control. Smoke deployed to extinguish the flames.
Edward goes inside of the smoke. That was deployed to kill the flames. You know that there was an old lady who swallowed a fly book.
Yeah.
Or you just continue on.
Then she's a spider.
And then she's a bird.
Yeah, then she gets a bird to eat the spider.
And then she...
Cat to eat the bird.
And then a dog to eat the cat.
Yeah.
A horse to eat the dog?
Do horses eat dogs?
I don't know, but I remember there were a horse and a cow going in there at some point.
Yeah. Oh.
How did they get there?
Oh, this is looking... I like this push from Shoxy. This could be timed to perfection, I think. There's 1. That will do, though. Considering the situation, I don't think he has to go any further than that. He's done the damage, shut down whatever tactic they had in mind. Really good timing there. Kenny S will be in front of the smoke towards long. And they'll rotate 4 players in total over towards A. Remember, if Na'Vi loses round, it's a full reset. Double digits for G2. They can still win this game and then some. But Flamey opens things up. Apex there with the stack, ready to shut him down. Time ticking away now, 20 seconds and a 4-on-3.
20 seconds and a 4-on-3. That's shots instead for Apex. That needs to be better. Kenny steps out. Down goes Simple.
Yeah, this could be a tied-up game.
You're shaking your head.
Yeah, because it's just Na'Vi, like they've gone back to not looking as well versed on the map as they did in the first half. It seemed like they addressed all the issues they had on the CT side, and now it's like they're so rigid in terms of the strategies that have to be deployed. They're doing the defaults in an okay manner. It's just like it's very predictable when you've got everyone on the A side of the map and no presence towards B. They haven't got someone lurking in towards the site or anything, or showing presence there like most teams will. They have a big name going towards short or monster and just showing he's going to be there and baiting out some of the utility. It's so slow towards A that they're getting caught out. They lose 1 player, and then at that point they've lost the map control and they have to go towards A, and the CTs have got full control of everything. I'll be on full eco here. Like I said, it'll be a reset, and this is very likely for the tie-up as G2. This double orb setup looking very strong indeed. This should be around where Na'Vi don't get a single frag. Nothing invested into it. Not sure what the approach is. Maybe trying to bleed out the CT economy. Trying to get some utility out of them.
Interesting alignment, therefore, by G2, staying so passive with body and Apex at B. Window, and then Shock's the only one that's even remotely forward at all, and he hardly is. You said they shouldn't get anything, the Glocks. A little spitballs. Starting to snowball because they get toward the site. Kenny gets one back on the AWP, but he has to swing out with a pistol. Still manages to suffice as such. Close the round himself on Zeus. How dare I doubt Kenny?
Indeed, he gets 3 more kills. His total must be getting up there now, close to 30. He's at 25. And the scores right now. I think Simple has dropped off in form in the T-half as well. Hasn't really had significant impacts. He was pretty much on that score at half. Edward taking the lead on 21. He's very quiet still. 7-17, MBK 7-18. He's had a bit more impact in the second half, but overall, scoreline 7-2 here. More wallbang damage. Nothing really landing this time, though. Play by Apex. This is looking very efficient with the AK-47. Pinpoint accuracy there. Stuck in the corner. They run through their own smokes, and he makes them look a little bit foolish. He can fall back now. That's the way you play. Get the opening picks, fall back. You don't need 3. Do whatever you can to win the round. That should be the main objective. You don't want the highlight clips. That's the players I respect. They can just know when they've done enough. And now they can go very defensively and wait for Na'Vi to commit. Such a good kill there by Shoxy as well. That's really nice bluff. It's going to be Body, who's had a very quiet game as well. The Orchid spray can't make the shots connect. 4-on-2, but that should be the round concluded. They'll know they're heading towards A, and as long as they trade as they retake it, it should be absolutely fine.
Played by Flamey. Double op. 2 rifles. Flamey needs to find the first kill immediately. Staying on the bomb to babysit it. They're going to check the truck. They spot his shoulder, though, so element of his surprise for him on top of the site. Gone, and Kenny, AWP. It leaves just Edward, 19, and even though it's planted for him, there's not much he can do. A flash goes over, catches himself even. They've already defused it, and he might as well save. This is going to go the way of G2. You're not wrong in saying that Na'Vi might have come up light. This will be their tactical timeout, obviously.
Edward saves an AK. He can drop 1 more. They've got about $3,500 per player right now, and that's not going to be ideal. This is the play from Apex. Just how good was this? First shot, pushing through the smoke. Seized had no idea. Seized and Simple getting wrecked at the same time, and he falls back as well. There's really, really nice play there. Toying with his food, and it will be round number 11 coming in. 1 more will tie things up at 13-13. It was likely. I did say if Na'Vi lost a pistol, I did see a world where this could happen, and G2. No slouches on this map. Double orb setup once again. MBK, of course, having a rough time, but has had a couple of orb shots so far. We are going to have a 4 spy here, from what I can see. They're going all in. Zeus, okay, Zeus down to about 1,200. In terms of lost minutes at 3rd stage, so this is okay. They can afford this one. They've kept each player about 1.5k per player. So they'll be okay the next round, getting $2,900. They can still win this as well. They've given Simple the AK-47 and Edward to save that. It's like, please, Simple, just kill everyone. That's the tactic.
Yeah, that has to be the tactic. That's all they can rely on. It's incredible that the polar opposites we're seeing in halves. Na'Vi looked so good to start this game off. MBK, meanwhile, he's stepped up late and nearly got 2 for 1.
It's the first.
Well, 1 for Simple. You're right. Doesn't even get damaged in all of that. So, best off for him as Kenny, meanwhile, smoked off in the site, has to look passive. Flamey.
Here we go.
And Simple again catches an aggressive flank from Apex, trying to pull the round back. This is, you're right, here we go, you said.
Give Simple an AK, and he'll be able to at least find you a couple of kills every single time. And he has delivered in this round as well. Bomb planted, 4-on-2. G2, this round's probably over. Zeus finds an AK, or an AWP, I should say.
Yep.
That's not bad. Use that next round. Can't find the shot as he falls back. Probably gives the AWP away now. No, he manages to hit the second shot. 14-12. Simple with 3 kills in total. So the tactic worked. Simple, please go kill everyone.
Kill everyone.
MBK gives up the weapon to kick things off. Went for the connector pip. Didn't really work out for him, and now Na'Vi back into this one. The score at half, 11-4. It's currently 8-3 in favour of G2. Simple gets the AWP once again after having a very quiet second half. That's a pretty lively round. He's up and about. Coming to the closing sectors now, mapped them to one Overpass, which G2 were heavily favoured on. After losing the half 11-4, we thought they were done for, but won the pistol. Now trying to work out what's the best point of approach here. Double AWP setup has been, they've been trying to force the issue, but it hasn't really worked out amazing. Like, sure, they've been winning rounds, but it's not like the secondary AWP's been finding an abundance of kills.
All that said, it's seized quick and fast toward short tunnel. Body, meanwhile, will take out Edward. Flamey still trying to fight back and decides to throw a Molotov for some reason toward the park after he just was peeked by Apex, who re-peeks. Sees him with a bottle in his hand and probably should drink away his sorrows. As Zeus tries to do better from the fountain, he certainly will. He's actually gotten shocks down in an exchange where the head was only showing for shocks. This brings it to a 2 versus 2 in a very quick round that's rather odd, and out toward the party, or the park, I should say.
2-on-2. Na'Vi get this. It's going to be map points and money destroyed for the French side. But Kenny S holding strong. Finds the first shot. What a scalp to take down as well. Simple. Leaves Zeus in the 1 versus 2. Has a minute to work with him. Wins this, will be a hero. MBK waiting for the connector. Kenny S and B. Not looking too good. Dead. Ooh. Somehow the timing's working out for him. Okay. Well, MBK decides to go in towards T-spawn. Still work out. Oh, they think it's going to be a B side maybe, because MBK is going all the way through T-spawn, hoping to find him. We have got some movement from Kenny as well, so he is actually looking towards the A side, so should be fine. 20 seconds. Zeus starts to come through.
Zeus will work his way slowly. Check all possibilities. Kenny gets closer toward the bank stairs. They'll hear the smoke go down. They know he's planting inside of it, and Kenny's going to try and get so close in the AWP
brave.
that, yeah, that's very brave, that he gets the shot right away without him knowing that he's fallen back, but he's still alone. He's alone on the site.
Yeah, that was a bit of a weird decision from Kenny. 2-1.
Yeah, now it's just a matter of timing. Zeus reads it, MBK goes down. If Kenny had even waited or maybe drawn that out a little longer, it could have been a better chance for his teammates to get in position, but Na'Vi find map point after a great start, a very poor mid-game, and then a timeout that's turned things around, apparently.
Is that look back at Kenny. If he hits that nosegay, but yeah, obviously it looks amazing. We're like, oh, he's such a legend. But in terms of the way he should have played the round, he should have waited for his teammate to come in, just lock Zeus in position, find out where he's going to, what position can he not be at. Just intel for his teammates. So potentially the final round here. 4 Famuses and an M4A4 for Kenny S. The 13. It was 11-4.5, we should say. It wasn't ever going to be that easy.
Flamey, meanwhile, ready himself on the AK. Kenny around the corner had no chance. There's a trade potential. Trade potential that somehow fails as well. Shocks goes down, and even if he'd won it, coming in from the top side of the stairwell, they had the rest of the Na'Vi side. So this could be disastrous for G2, falling apart in the bitter end. That's the name of a pub in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Used to drink there all the time. Good shot through the wall. Does do damage. Edward and Flamey are tagged, but they still have those two greater than G2 does. Take that back ever so slightly. Body. He's dropped the bomb again.
For the refrag with the bomb on your back and 10 HP. Body finds them an opening here. This is looking good for them with Edward on 30 HP as well. MBK is given the call. They're not going towards the B side. Push Monster, nothing there at all. They will be fully committing, and Apex is playing the defensive angle, but will it be enough? Has to find at least 2 kills here to make this round a possibility. There's the first, and the second as well. That should be the round. 13 seconds, and MBK coming in the back, and after finding the first 2 picks, they just don't seem to want to actually close it out. 15-13. And now their money's in the bin. This is looking like it's going to be overtime for sure. This is great work from Body at this angle. Take him down. And the refrag coming in at such low HP. It was brave by Flaming and ultimately cost him round as well. He gives up the information that the bomb's there. Time is ticking away. And now we have to have the force buy from Na'Vi. Maybe take the eco here. If you've got enough for AKs, UMPs, and an AWP, you can have a full buy next. But it's simple, of course. Takes down Kenny S. Can they recover that AWP and upgrade one of the pistols? What an upgrade that would be.
Massive. Yeah, incredible upgrade. Shox, meanwhile, out toward the party. Simple. Shots in toward bathrooms, and Shox is actually just going to... Oh, is he going to go? I think he is. They're making so much noise. I don't think he expected to run into the other player. Zeus, did he realize it? Oh my god. If he had turned and no-scoped, I would have just lost it. But it's an AWP down. It's Zeus that's disappeared. It's Na'Vi that's pulled this back to a 2 versus 2 with simple shot against Body. He's inside of the site. The problem is they have to figure out how best to get to each other, because Seized is waiting top mid and lost to MBK. Bombs planted for Simple, who is relying on him to survive and win the duel and have the post plant position. Therefore, Shox gets Simple, and we go to 15-14. We're looking overtime square in the face.
Yeah, absolutely. Almost certainly overtime now. Seized had the information the CT was coming out of the connector. All had to do was take that one player down, it would have been it, but struggling to find the shot. 7 kills, 21 deaths. That's... Matt, just look at the scoreboard right now. That's, you see a disparity.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
7 kills for him. The next one up is 23. Like he
on the other side, you've got MBK on 10 and Apex on 28.
Yeah.
Apex is hard carrying right now.
It's a little bit rough. Well, definitely. Well, I say definitely. Almost certainly going to overtime here, and someone goes absolutely wild with a Galil. 3 of those. 1 Deagle. A UMP. Opportunity to close this game out in a 5-on-3 situation. Offer themselves up towards middle though with no smokes, no flashbangs, ran around. Body with the famous. Got them back into it. Contact play. Why not? Hope for the best. It's over. Overtime's coming in.
Body, body, body. Bag, 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 bag. Call the corner. He's going to have a busy day. Apex will come back around and take out Zeus. We've got overtime. This is the game that just keeps on giving. It doesn't want to end.
Yeah, well, it's not been the prettiest T-halves, but Na'Vi do at least guarantee overtime means everything's reset. The money will be there once more. That was a bit of an issue towards the end there. Here's the frag shots for you. G2 definitely having Apex at the front of the pack. Kenny S looking great in the first half. Dropped off somewhat in the second, but still had the impact required. That's going to be gutting for Na'Vi, having that 11-4 start as well, and 3 map points to work with. Couldn't quite find the final shots as we'll go into overtime.
It's pretty impressive, the score between Apex and Simple. They're both having excellent games. Apex is a sleeper. He shows up every now and then and goes on fire. It's been all CT side, so is there a chance, Hank, I proposed the question that T side is the key. I think, okay, I'm saying if Na'Vi were to get 2 right now.
Well, yeah, for sure. They can just mix things up and just should we try some rushes here? Should we just actually stay as a 5-man unit? Defaults aren't really working out for us, and we're having a chance to get the executions by the time we actually get to the choke points. We're just getting caught with nades in our hands. But double orb set up once again. This is where G2 want to be, it seems. And there's another slow default for Na'Vi. MPK not going aggressive with the orb just yet. Same sort for Kenny. Kenny's been a little bit caged. He hasn't really been going for the first picks. I know he probably seems up against Simple, who's very fast as well. He just wants to leave it to crossfires and teamwork instead of him trying to open up the beginning of every single map.
So Edward to the bathrooms. Shox out at long behind the flower pot's going to try and bait Kenny with an AWP back into the picture. That's good work. I actually take that back. It's going to be the other way around because Kenny's the one that wants to be exposed. Public indecency. Question now is with the smoke down. I was going to say, how does he bait Shocks? If that's the case, if that's the call, Shocks just goes for it. Decides, all right, if you're smoked, I'll take the fight on my own, and it works.
Again. As soon as they throw that smoke, he's like, well, I know what you're up to. I'll come around the corner and find these 2 free kills. You've got nades in your hand. As soon as they throw it, he comes round. And he's got Kenny to back him up as well. He's standing in front of the smoke. This is the GT round all day long. Body, not overcommitting, but finds the frag, low HP in front of him, and that's Flamey. And seized with his current performance so far on this map. I don't think he'll be bringing much more to the table there.
Are you still as big a fan of Body as you were at the start of the year?
I think so. Like, he's always...
fundamental.
Yeah, he's always absolutely fine. I think the scoreboard got a little bit messed up there towards the end, didn't it? Oh, he's got 25 kills still.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't realise he had. It seemed like he was dropping off somewhat. No, he's doing very well. Yeah, he's always just a safe pair of hands. He's never like going to have all the highlight clips or anything too crazy, but he always just does a pretty good fundamental job of Counter-Strike, just holding bomb sites and doing what he has to do to win rounds, which is my favourite CS to watch. And Simple with the first shot here, but Body fighting back, he pushes off towards short, but a chance for Na'Vi now in the 5. We'll make it 4 on 3. 2 players though for G2, waiting in the connector. That's Shocks and Kenny S. Quite the duo. That's Kenny looks towards the Overpass, but can't hit that shot.
Apex, meanwhile, goes around on his M4. Flames behind him, so he's forced out, and he's forced into a narrow position because of smokes, or rather Flames, excuse me, to his right as well. Good find. Edward, however, still wins it for Na'Vi, and somehow we find 16-16.
We do.
Let's go to triple overtime. Forget double. Let's just skip ahead.
It probably will happen.
Can we hit the fast forward button and get there?
Yeah, it'll probably happen, don't worry. Round number 3. Orbs coming out once more. It will be the double orb setup from what I can see. G2 give one up, and that's great news for Na'Vi, considering the way T-side went in regulation. And C's picks up an AWP, and that's a bit of a change. Like we said, 8 kills, 24 deaths. He might as well. The rifles aren't finding him anything. So he was the secondary AWP when Guardian was in the team. Let's see if we can get rolling here with the AWP. The final round of first half of overtime here. Nice little gap for Flamey to work with there. Just about works out for him as well. That's a little bit naughty. And he will find the damage, but not the kill. He pulls out the nade.
Pulled out a nade at the wrong time. Shocks. MBK, meanwhile, with him as Edward goes all the way back around toward the spawn, down to the bottom, needs to clear out the stairs, which are occupied by both Shocks and MBK, who opens the door, and AWP is going to flash himself in. Not bad. Spotted it too. Oh, spotted it blind. Still fires and gets somehow a shoulder shot, it almost looked like, but partial damage. Lag. Shocks follows it up. Apex back inside of the site. Will cover off with Shocks, who's rotated around, brings a Deagle in and wants the last kill, but Apex beats him to it. 17 rounds, 2-1 as we swap over, and I think that's about what I would have expected. But it's again the terrorist-sided rounds that become a problem, and I'm not sure Na'Vi, they had great form at the start, have shown such form late, so perhaps there's just nothing in it on their CT side when they swap over. It was a leg shot, it hit him on the knee. I thought it was shoulder.
Yeah, I like that flashbang he used. That was quite cool, just to get that opening kill. Didn't get the second, but definitely hit him. Contributed at least. And it will be 2-1. That's it. That is about right. Na'Vi do still run away with nice teamwork towards the B side, but their CT side was much better, if you remember, in regulation. They have 1 round, at least something to work with there. I'm sure they'll be okay with that. Just need 2 rounds here to at least force double overtime. 3 would do it in a row. Certainly possible for them. Take a slight pause here, as the mind games really do begin in overtime. Obviously, they've seen everything you've got in regulation, your play styles and your tendencies, and it's time to maybe mix things up, have variations, fakes, dummy rounds. I saw an auto snipe on the T side there. That must be a misbuy.
Yeah, overtime, first round.
Please no. Okay, it's not.
Yeah, good.
It was MBK.
16k, so it's not going to haunt them too much. Well, shouldn't haunt them too much.
No, not on the T side so much, I guess. Well, here we go. What's the play? Anyone aggressive on the CD side? Doesn't look like it. We're seeing less and less of that. Simple hold towards the bathrooms. Edward along. And smokes and Molotovs deployed. Simple can't see anything just yet. Looking for any players boosted up, but they've already got control of the party area. Edward holds in the bathrooms. Trying to back Simple up somewhat. Simple needs to be very careful here. Players already making their way through.
Still searching for it, can't get it. Shocks. Will Simple now does. CT side up for him in the first half was impressively good. Back out to the bathrooms, continues to look for more, won't peek out front side this time. G2 smartly slow it down. For some reason, when there's panic and chaos, when you think you can capitalize on Simple, that's when he's at his best.
Yeah.
When things are going insane around him, he's insane within it. As soon as it slows down, that's when you might catch him off.
For now, 4-on-4. With Shoxy up towards long. C's waiting on the other side. C's has not got the AWP at this point. We'll see if he can go toe-to-toe. Does fall back. And, Simple, that timing. You really do hate to see that. Watching it for about a minute. And as soon as he turns away, MBK walks down the corner. C's to defend. If he can find form in this round, all will be forgiven. Needs to at least get one kill here to make this not a possibility. Oh, my goodness. It's just shocking, isn't it?
Well, it's shocking, but not shocks. It's NBK and Buddy. See what I did there, Hank?
That is good.
Thank you. As Na'Vi seemed to struggle on the first CT round, this does mean that G2 will find map point in overtime, and the comeback is almost complete. Remember, though, they will not get 3 points. They only get 2, and Na'Vi only get 1. Both these teams are on the bottom. One of them needed 3 points. I don't know if this really helps anyone.
No, it doesn't. You're right. That is actually a really good point. With them both struggling in Pro League right now, G2, especially the bottom, even if they win this, they're getting 2. That's not ideal. But they pick up the round after getting the opening pick. Well, their first opening pick was 4-on-3. C's really had to deliver that. And it was a nice position from him. The awareness of where he had to be. The timing was perfect. He had 2 seconds there just to tap off the head. Or just even correct the spray, but this couldn't really land any damage whatsoever. Had to find 1 kill there. If he gets that 1 kill and stays alive, buy some time, that might have been enough. Wasn't meant to be. 18-16 now. 1 will do it. G2 on the T side have already guaranteed themselves double overtime here. Simple goes with the aggressive shot, just gets naded instead. Down to 62 points of health. And finding the first shot. That's Apex. This will be the reverse sweep after losing their first half 11-4 map. Looks like they might have done it.
Yeah, I think they pretty much have at this point. I think Na'Vi is going to internally combust. If someone could channel that energy into an engine, be a lot of horsepower.
Yeah, there would be. A lot of torque.
All at once, too. Not a constant linear vector. It would just be like bang.
Yeah.
Hitting a wall. Apex hits Edward. I think you're right. 5 versus 2. Seized and Simple. 1 good, the other not so much in this game.
1 good. Yeah, you're right. 1's at the top of the scoreboard at 28 for 24. Yeah, 8 for 26. That is such a shocking scoreline. That's like rolling back the years. That's like Fifth Laren's knocking at the door again.
Oh, come on now. Come on.
I'm just saying, dude, it's a really bad score. And a map there in overtime as well, you just can't find anything.
Leave Fifi alone. He has such a gentle laugh. Just Simple left. Shocks finds him, and it is the reverse sweep. G2 get 2 points. Na'Vi get 1. Both of them are on the bottom. I'm not sure we have a winner at all in that scenario, but G2 certainly takes this map at the very least.
They do indeed. The 11-4 scoreline. They looked like they were out of it. It was Na'Vi adjusting their CT side, looking much better and showing they could still compete on this map. Overall, G2, though, bring it back to overtime. He felt like that was the beginning of the end. As soon as they did that, they managed to run away with it. 2-1 in the first half and then the clean sweep in the second. And with the first map going in favor of G2, Na'Vi still covering any form. But good news for G2, I guess, but still only getting 2 points in overtime. That's not ideal when you're at the very bottom of the Pro League. But at least it's something. We'll take a break and come back with the analysis desk.